Hi everyone, before we dive into the tarot reading project, it's worth mentioning that Unity is not just for making games, you can make applications just like you do in the Android Studio, and it is even faster. This approach is very fast and cheap. For example, you have the same UI for all the project that you want to make, and then for the data, you don't need to even write a single line of data. For example, you want to make a tarot reading, you don't need to even know what is tarot. You just fetch the data from the JSON file that is available on the GitHub, or you want to make, for example, quotes of the famous people. You have the same UI, just change the JSON file as a data, and then that is your second app. Or you can even make psychology tests. You can make books. You don't need to write the book yourself. Just fetch the data from the JSON file. Just write the basic thing for pagination, and you can make thousands of books. And believe me, from my own experience, they sell even better than games. The games should be very top notch. People don't pay for entertainment, but people pay for something useful. For example, yes, the book is very simple, but people pay for it. So, okay, I show you one example about how to make a tarot reading. Actually, this is a complicated project. For the things that I told you, you just need to just make a text. But I show you how to fetch the image, how to make different kinds of text inside that. And then you can just spam all the apps. So let's begin. Okay, for this tarot project, for data, go to GitHub and search tarot JSON. Search for a JSON file that can be easily used by Unity's JSON utility. For example, this one is good and also has tarot pictures. If you want Unity's JSON utility to parse your tarot data without errors, your JSON must have single root object with a single array inside it, and each card must follow the same structure. For example, this is a bad sample, but this one is good. As I also want the images, I download the whole project as a zip file, then extract it. In Unity, you can make a 2D core project to keep things simple. Make a new folder and call it exactly resources. Then inside that, I make an optional folder to put the images there. Put the JSON file right next to it. Let's make a folder for scripts. To make the JSON file ready, just add a wrapper like this. I make this script separately for clarity, but you can put all of these classes inside one script. Add system.serializable. Why? Because Unity's JSON utility can only serialize and deserialize classes that are marked as system.serializable. Without it, JSON parsing won't work. Inside tarot card class, we enter exactly these variables. This one has a space, so better skip it or add underline. I entered those names here as a string. Fortune telling and keywords are list or array. Meaning is divided into light and shadow. You don't need to add everything, but let's make the class for them. For TarotDB or database, just write this. In Tarot Loader, call the database. Then we make a function for loading cards. Call it an awake function. Now it is time to call the JSON file. Give exactly the path it is. We check if it is null, it shows an error. Else, we write this. So what does it do? It converts the raw JSON text into a C# object of type TarotDB, filling all the fields and arrays automatically. We also use this to check if all the cards are there. To load the sprite or images, we write a new function. Don't forget to give its exact path. To prevent bugs, remove the image extensions like JPEG or PNG using this line. To test if everything works fine, I make a new game object and then assign a Tero loader. If I run the app, it says all the 78 cards are loaded. Okay, let's make the UI to display the cards and their meaning. On Canvas, make a panel. You can use simple UI or make a nice background and frame. I will use this frame. Temporarily, I add this card to fix its position and scale, then remove it. We also need a button to draw a new card. Always dock your UI elements so in different devices they stick to their position. Now let's add text to show the title, meaning, and other variables. I only want to display some of this data. For each of them, we need a text holder. After testing the text size and color, empty all of them. Enter a UI class called the loader, then define all the variables related to the UI elements. We make a function to show a random card. You can call it in a start function if you want a card to be displayed when the app is open. As we want a random card, we use random.range. So one of these 78 cards can be randomly displayed as fade. We also load the image of the card. Also other things like title, numerology, meaning, and so on. Assign Tero UI to any active game object like the panel. Make an empty game object to give Tero loader code. Then assign it there. And fill other parts. For the button in the onClick function, give the panel and find the Show Random Card function. You can add a transparent background under the text to read it better. Here is the final result. As you see, the data has been fetched from JSON and put it there. It is worth mentioning that if the data you use is an RTL language like Persian, Arabic, or Hebrew, then you need a few modifications. For example, I downloaded a Hafiz poem divination dataset which is in Persian. You need to install TextMeshPro and also download RTLTMPro from GitHub. In the UI, instead of using a regular text component, use RTLTMPro. For the font, choose an Arabic-compatible font for Persian and Arabic text and a Hebrew-compatible font for Hebrew text. Make sure to enable all the required checkboxes. The code structure is similar to the Tero card system, but in the UI, we use RTL TextMeshPro. Here is the result. Thanks for watching.